for putting this together. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I put together a presentation that I'll share with you. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So as was mentioned, we're Alameda Paranormal. I started this group, geez, seems like a million years ago, 2011. So next year will be our 10-year anniversary. Most people know us, our team, from the work we do with the USS Hornet. It's a World War II aircraft carrier docked in Alameda. And we've been around for a while and done a lot of work, mostly at historic locations, such as the Camron-Stanford House, most recently. That's really where the bulk of our investigations take place, are in historic buildings that have a real unique history, and a lot of them around the Bay Area, but we've been kind of all over the United States. I've done some investigating myself internationally as well. So we've done at least 100 investigations. But yeah, the stuff in the Bay Area is probably my most favorite, because we can, revisit a location if it warrants that. So that's awesome to have these great places in our backyard. Some of the, for those that are like kind of new, what is paranormal investigation? Like, what does that mean? Well, there's a lot of weird terms that people use, ghost chasers, ghost hunters, paranormal investigators. We just like spooky stuff, and we like places that are spooky and, people think maybe are haunted by spirits. And we use several different types of tools to try to document any type of paranormal activity that people are experiencing. A lot of what we do is video recording, and that's actually one of the reasons Ying and I are friends, is for the video portion of that. I'll let her tell that side of the story, but a lot of videos that we post are on our YouTube, and then Ying's got her channel that documents a lot of what we do as well. We also use audio recording devices. And really, for me, one of our biggest tools that doesn't cost any money is really just using, your body, yourself. And I'll kind of talk a little bit more about that as we share some of our evidence. Something new that we've been doing the last couple of years that has really worked out well for us in terms of things that we do, excuse me, that we do to try to capture, basically paranormal phenomena. In this picture here, that's Jack White and Katrina Weidman. These are people on TV. So if you watch TV ghost hunting shows, you might know some of the tools that are out there. So in Jack's hand is a REM pod. So this is, for all intents and purposes, it's kind of like a proximity detector. So you put it on the ground or wherever. If something comes across the antenna, lights will light up on this device, kind of indicating that there's something there that maybe you don't see, but the device will sort of pick that up. The other meter in Katrina's hand is kind of similar, but it gives you more of a digital readout of energy, for lack of a better term. Also temperature that's in the area that might indicate cold spots or things like that many people believe mean that a ghost is present. So those are some of the tools that we also use, but not as often as just using audio and video recording devices and our bodies, like I mentioned. So I want to just share some more evidence of things that we've collected, just to you guys can get to kind of know us and our style, and then we'll get kind of into what we found at the Camron-Stanford House. So play this clip for you, hope you can hear it. This is taken at the USS Hornet. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, Summer, I'm so sorry. We can't hear your video. You might have to turn up the volume, perhaps, on the video itself. Oh, it's all the way up. Interesting.
Did you hear the first part?
No.
No.
You know, when you do share a presentation, there's a very tiny box on the bottom left when you do share screen for share computer audio. So if you stop share and then you share again, there should be on the bottom left, a little box for you to click.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Stop share.
Stop share and then share. And then there's a window that'll pop up.
Okay, got it. And then here, let's see if we'll try that again.
Thank you, Ying.
You're welcome.
Okay, let me play this from the beginning.
We have to ask like we did in there's females here.
Are you guys hearing
Does
anything?
that upset you?
Yeah.
Oh, but now I can't hear
Oh, the
you.
door just closed.
Did we catch them on camera?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Based.
Oh my
And
God.
that wasn't just closed a little
I
bit.
didn't see a hand outside. The door was open several inches.
We have to ask like we did in the movie theater. There's females here. Does that upset you?
Oh, the door just.
I went inside this room that I've never been in before. It said, authorized personnel only. We weren't supposed to be in there. The air was very stagnant, so you could tell that nobody had been in there for like a really long time. And it was like a control room. There was lots of electronic equipment. So I walk in the room and I say to myself, oh, I don't think I'm supposed to be in here. And then I turn around and all of a sudden this strap on my backpack gets tugged and my backpack lifts from my back. And I just stand there like frozen, and I don't turn around, and then I'm like, I gotta go get somebody because this is crazy. I went downstairs and I was like, guys, something happened. Come with me, let's go check out this room. And we looked around the room to see if there was any like hooks or doorknobs or whatever that could have like been caught on my backpack. Nothing. I literally would have to squat down and like get against the wall to get caught, and I wasn't doing that. I just walked in the room and said, oh, shouldn't be here, and then walked out. And that was it.
Okay, so I can't hear you guys right now, but hopefully you can hear the next clip. This is a disembodied voice that we captured actually this week aboard the USS Hornet, which is pretty creepy, and hopefully you can hear it. Can you talk into my microphone?
What do you hear?
I heard go. Can you talk into my microphone?
What do you hear?
I heard go. So in that clip, I actually heard this in my headphones. So it's not what a lot of folks call an EVP, electronic voice phenomena. It actually was something audible. I heard a response to my question, and I picked it up on the voice recorder. So that was pretty creepy. That was collected in the hospital area of the USS Hornet. So again, spooky stuff for Halloween because that happened just this week. And then this one is going to lead up to kind of what happened to us at the Camron-Stanford House. This is also something that we did this week at the USS Hornet, and I call it the Kill Sense experiment. And basically what this experiment is, using your body, we take the audio and visual aspect away from somebody. So we cover their eyes, and then we put headphones on them that's playing really loud static noise. And so that person cannot hear, and that person cannot see what is going on around them. And so what we do is we have the person sitting there, and we ask if there are spirits around to interact with that person, kind of like a human Ouija board. So touch their right arm for yes, touch their left arm for no kind of situation. And we've had some real success doing this because it really takes the gadget and gizmo thing out of the equation when people are trying to understand whether or not ghosts exist, because you can explain away a lot, 99% of the stuff that are captured with typical ghost hunting gear. But when it's something like this where you kind of take out the guesswork, it's really hard to explain away. So I'll go ahead and play this clip. Recording audio, sick bay. Steve, can you hear us? We're doing the kill sense experiment in the sick bay.
Is there anyone present here? Are there any medics working? If so, can you help this poor gentleman? Can you touch his shoes?
Something's touching my left foot.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, we appreciate that.
So in this clip, we ask, for the spirits to interact with this gentleman in the hospital area of the Hornet, and as you can see, something touches his foot when we ask it to. So that was pretty awesome. So leading to Camron-Stanford in the house, the work we did in this house, we were basically the first paranormal team to ever investigate the property, which was awesome and definitely an honor. And we were there for 2 nights. And just to kind of give a background for those that maybe don't know the house very well, it's right near Lake Merritt. It's this, beautiful, awesome building. It's the last remaining of the Victorian mansions that were all around the lake at one point in time. And the property was home to several well-known people, affluent residents in the Bay Area. In the early 1900s, the last resident, which was Captain John Tennant Wright, he sold the property back to Oakland. And I know that we can confirm that there have been deaths on the property. So we investigated the location and the haunted bay. Ying and her team filmed us there as well. Some of the tools that we brought, as I mentioned earlier, we definitely like a lot of visual aspects to ghost hunting. So we brought all our cameras. We had thermal imaging camera, which in this slide, there's a picture of cameraman Matt. This is what it looks like when you use a thermal imaging camera. Some investigators think that ghosts will appear using this camera because it can detect temperature, and if a ghost is cold, you might be able to see that figure using this camera that might not be picked up on a normal camera. The location was new to all of us. We had never been there before. I mean, not even as like taking a tour or anything. So we were all really fresh and didn't really know much about the site. So, which was awesome because we weren't coming in with any sort of background to influence our investigation. And here is a clip of what happened to us there. Oops. Sorry about that.
kept seeing a younger guy peeking his head out from the hallway over your shoulder. Then I kept double taking into my monitor.
Yeah. Can you hear what I'm saying? Can you hear what I'm saying? I'm asking a question. Can you hear it? She can't hear me. You? So if you can please try very, very hard to touch her shoulder. That would be very, very helpful. I mean, it's hot in this house, but it's like ice cold right here. Like right in here. Like I've got goosebumps. My hair is like standing up.
So I'm next to you. I don't feel any.
This one.
I felt like there was somebody walking across and like going back and forth over here. Like I could feel the floor vibrating.
Nobody's moving.
I thought that you were over here.
So the other cool thing that happened is she's sitting in the chair, eyes closed, headphones on, so she can't hear us. So I asked if there's a spirit here to touch her like on her shoulder, and she's in the chair and she's like motioning like something's touching her shoulder, but she couldn't hear me ask that question, so that was interesting. Yeah, so that was awesome. Basically, we did that kill sense experiment again, and we had success. I think. I know Cody saw some things down in the basement with us. He's the cameraman for Haunted Bay, and you know the running seemed like a child running around us. The cold spot that was pretty low to the ground. Maybe indicating a child as well, which is all pretty fascinating. You know, when we're thinking about who are these spirits, well, no, it's not Beetlejuice and it's not Slimer from Ghostbusters, because that's not real. But, you know, maybe it's these people, you know, Josiah Stanford, who, you know, once lived in the home. He kind of fits the description of what the cameraman was seeing. Tall guy, kind of long coat. And then the small child, you know, Gracie Cameron, who we know passed away in the home, kind of fits with what we were finding in the house there. So I will say, you know, for those that have never visited or want to visit, these things were not scary or evil or whatever. You know, a lot of ghost hunting shows talk about scary, evil places, and this is not one of them at all. It was a very calming location, very nice, and I definitely encourage folks to, you know, after COVID, obviously, to visit the home, because it's really gorgeous and has such good energy surrounding it. So I'm going to stop sharing because I can't hear you when I share. And yeah, I'm probably going to have to.
Can you hear us now? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't hear anybody, so I'm gonna probably log off and log back on.
Sure, that's fine. Ying, do you have your half ready to go while Summer does her login?
Yeah. So
Okay.
hi, I can just go ahead. I'll introduce myself. So I'm Ying Liu, and I am the creator of The Haunted Bay, which is a documentary series on, right now we're on Amazon Prime and AsianAmericanMovies.com. And what we do is basically, we don't consider ourselves the ghost investigators, although sometimes we get pulled in, but we document paranormal investigators, mainly the Alameda paranormal researchers. I think some of the footage that was shown there was, we filmed that. And we also film psychic mediums often as they go back to the same locations. We have them go on separate days because we don't want them to influence each other. Can you hear me now, Summer? So she's still connecting to audio. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can.
So yeah, so we basically film the Alameda paranormal researchers, and we film psychic mediums most of the time. June Ahern is her name, but sometimes other guest mediums in these locations, and then we kind of put it together as these documentaries. So we've had 2 seasons so far. We have our old episodes on YouTube, and then we have a new season 3 coming up. And I just have a little kind of trailer here that gives a beginning look of one of our next episodes in season 3, which involves we went to the Oddfellows Lodge in San Francisco. And let me share my screen and I'll show you this trailer. Okay. Can everyone see it? I'll just nod if you can hear the sound.
In 2016, construction workers made a shocking discovery in this San Francisco home. They found a metal coffin with glass windows buried under the garage. Inside was the preserved body of a little girl with long blonde hair, a long white lace dress, and a cross made from flowers. She was nicknamed Miranda Eve. Who was she, and why was she here?
So yeah, there it is. So our season 3 will be coming out, I believe, is it tomorrow? Today's the 29th. Yeah, tomorrow on Amazon Prime and AsianAmericanMovies.com. And I don't know how much time I have. Do you want me to keep talking, or is Summer finished? I can keep talking. I just don't want to hog her time.
Sure. Yeah. We have a little bit of time. I don't know if maybe Summer or Summer and Yang, you were both there. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about the experiences that you had at the Camron-Stanford House. I know when we were there were quite a few of you that were using some, I think they were the spirit boxes maybe for the words that were coming up and trying to find meaning with those. I know there were some other spirits that you talked about sensing in the area. Don't know if you want to share a little bit about
that. Yeah, I can I can talk about some of that stuff. And then Ying, I know we kind of basically that night or those couple of nights we kind of split up. So we had some folks that were up on the 2nd floor, and I know that I don't know if we caught it on film or not. I don't think we did, but there were quite a few experiences, like a door closing, we had a K2 meter up there on the second floor, which it's a meter that essentially detects energy and has flickering lights to tell you, you know, the intensity of this energy, and folks believe that that could be a sign of the presence of a spirit. And what was happening there was very specific. It wasn't going off randomly. So we would ask a question, you know, yes or no, make the lights flicker, and that kind of thing happen. And I think they determined that there was a woman up on the second floor. I'm not sure who in the history of this home, but that she was older, and we were kind of in her space, and she was like, I didn't invite you over for tea or whatever, like you're not welcome here. Not in a rude way, but more of a like, you should have called first kind of way, was my vibe. I don't know, Ying, if you had a different experience elsewhere in the home.
I believe we were only there for one of the investigations, right? I can't remember right now. I think Cody from our team, he tends to be probably the most sensitive to paranormal activity of all of us. There's 3 of us. He was picking up a lot, as you saw in the film. I do remember something funny that showed up on a spirit box. Basically, it said horror pole. You remember that?
Oh yeah, right.
Horror pole. And Matthew from our team looked outside, and there were these women doing like a strip routine on a pole, dancing like strippers on a pole.
Right.
It was so random.
Yeah. So the spirit box, you know, for those that don't know, it's basically this radio that scans all of the frequencies, the channels on the radio, AM and FM, and it kind of scans through those. And the theory is that spirits can kind of communicate within those frequencies, and you can hear words coming out of the scans out of this box. And again, it I think at this place, what we were getting out of the spirit box, like, only made sense when, you know, when we asked a question. Like, it wasn't doing it randomly. It all kind of fit together. So like you said, it said, you know, horror pole, and there were ladies dancing provocatively outside on what was it, the light pole.
Yeah.
So that was weird and funny and very fitting for the area of Oakland. So it worked out pretty well there. But yeah, just general experiences. I know our team member Androniki, she's the one that we did the kill sense experiment with, and I know she felt like she was getting touched. She could sense, you know, somebody walking around her, and I think there was a few times she's like, "Are you guys walking around me?" And we were all sitting down. We're like, "No, we didn't move." So she could actually feel the vibrations of the floorboards where she was. And in that same scenario, you know, Cody was seeing like shadow figures, all that downstairs area of the museum. So it was pretty interesting. And like I said, it didn't seem random. I'm definitely the skeptic, I think, of probably all of our both teams, where I'm like, no, that's not a ghost. But at the Camron-Stanford, everything seemed very directed towards us, I guess, like in terms of the spirits they're trying to communicate, whether it was like, hey, you should have called first, or hey, why are you in my home, like this is weird, but hey, you want to hang out. It was like welcoming, but not kind of funky, but it seemed to connect the dots for the time that folks would have lived in that home. So
so we had a couple of comments in the chat box. I think we are lucky today to have a couple descendants of some people that lived in the house. So we have a family member of the Wright family, who was the last family to live in the Camron-Stanford House. So thank you for joining us. And we also have a descendant of Matilda and Franklina, who also lived in the house for some time. So that's fun. And so I know our docents and our volunteers talk a lot about especially Franklina, like maybe her ghost is hanging around, which I can neither confirm or deny, of course. But I agree that if there are spirits in the house, they are very kind to us and kind of playful. I was actually just talking with one of the people that worked on the restoration for the house, and he was saying that he felt that he had a connection with Alice Cameron's ghost when he was doing work, because he said he was trying to find a midpoint in one of the rooms to hang a chandelier, and he just felt that she was there kind of helping him and helped drop a piece of something on the floor to help him align where it was. I don't know if that's true, but we've definitely have had people at the house comment on things like that. But I did want to know if you maybe wanted to talk a little bit more. I know you said that you sensed a child in the house because of the low cold points and that kind of thing. Was there anything else that indicated that maybe it was a kid running around? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think it was when we did that kill sense experiment with Anjaniki. She felt like there was something at knee level, touching her at knee level, and like almost. And I know she was on here earlier, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like she felt like something was trying to hug her, like hug onto her leg, hold onto her leg, kind of thing, like a toddler would. And so, we didn't really know much about the deaths in the home. And we had just met you, I mean, really. So it was really interesting because the low level cold spot, and then Androniki feeling like something's grabbing onto her leg, but not in a scary, like, I'm going to get you kind of way, but more of a very like loving, like I'm a child, and, how like children hang on your leg sometimes, in fun. So that happened. And then the running, it seemed like the floorboards were shaking, like something was running around downstairs in like a playful way, not in a heavy, like I'm a big scary ghost way, but very playful, just running around in circles down there. And I know that we kind of felt like wind, like swoosh by us, like something had run by. So all of those things kind of indicated to us that if there was something there, it was maybe a child. I'm not sure who, but so Androniki's on, and she says, she said she felt like a toddler, and that Cody was also seeing a sort of shorter, shadowy figure as well downstairs.
And I remember also us talking a bit, you were kind of educating me a little bit about how ghosts and spirits kind of move through areas, and you were saying that sometimes it could be spirits of people that lived in the house, but it could also be people passing through, or spirits passing through rather. Could you talk a little bit about that as well?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not an expert on what happens when we die, like nobody is, right? But I mean, to me, and just based on my experience and things that have happened on some of the investigations, it seems like, and I know this would be true for me if I was able to, it seems like if somebody really liked somewhere that they visited, that in the afterlife, if they have the opportunity, they could possibly visit there as well. So, and I say that a lot because of what we get at the Hornet. Like we've had voices and names of people that would have never ever served on the ship, like dogs or children or lots of women kind of things. People have seen women and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, that doesn't really fit with the history. And actually dogs being on the ship was bad luck. So, stuff like that would happen. But other places too. And I think about it like, we did this great investigation with Ying at the Warfield in San Francisco. And there's a person that keeps showing up in our investigations there. I don't want to ruin Ying's episode, so I won't give too many details, but that person didn't die on the property, but he was there all the time and loved it, and it's a music venue. So I think about, when I eventually pass away, where, if I'm able to, where would I hang out? I want to go see free concerts, like all the time. Like I want to be front row for my favorite bands. And so like for, Camron-Stanford House, maybe if they were a friend that visited the home and just thought it was gorgeous, and now they like to come by sometimes and hang out. So I think that's definitely a possibility.
I don't know. I agree with, I mean, I also am definitely not an expert since I just follow and film people, but I think somebody on the Hornet got the voice of a little girl, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
Was this, yeah, like it's strange that why would there be a little girl on the Hornet? You know, I don't think they brought children on there. And I actually recently just interviewed Lloyd Auerbach, who's also he's a well-known parapsychologist, and I mentioned that, like, why is there a kid voice on the Hornet? And he said several things. He said that one, sometimes living people's energies can be recorded in the atmosphere, I guess. So it might be something left over by a living person. It also might be spirits coming to visit the place because, like Summer said, they like it. In fact, according to the mediums that he worked with, previously to it opening as a museum, I guess in the 90s, some workers on the ship never had any paranormal experiences. They did on other ships, but not this one. But when it started to open, people started experiencing more and more. And he thinks, I mean, we can't know for sure, of course, it seems like the mediums communicating with the spirits on the Hornet said, well, they heard that the Hornet was in trouble because they were going to dismantle the Hornet and just, you know, sell the pieces. I don't know what they do with dismantling ships. And so they heard about that and they wanted to help save the ship. And so they actually gathered onto the ship, according to the medium, I don't know, and help it get publicity and attention. So I thought that was a really cool story. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's funny you say that because specifically at the Hornet, when we're not experiencing a lot, you know, we'll have fundraisers or what have you, and we'll tell the spirits, they're like, hey, you know, we could really use, the Hornet could really use this money for whatever fundraiser thing they're doing, you know, so if you guys are around and you want to participate in this, you know. And then almost every time the activity increases when we tell them that. And so I would totally believe that spirits at these, you know, historic locations maybe are more active when they know that it's going to bring more visitors and it'll help this place that they love.
Well, that brings me to a question that we have in the chat. Someone wanted to know if you ever let outsiders go with you to some of these places.
Yeah, from Dan. For sure, Dan, you can sign up for history and mystery tours at the Hornet. We do those, well, I mean, not during COVID because we're all being safe, but, you know, when life returns back to normal, you know, you can look into that. And, you know, we bring our gear and, you know, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get some fun activity there. So I would definitely check the Hornet's website. And you can join us on one of those tours.
As for, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, in Ying, you've got stuff going on, right? Well, maybe not during COVID, but you've got stuff going on, like your ghost walks, right?
Yeah, during normal times, I did some ghost tours. I basically took people into 3 locations where we had filmed investigations and kind of taught people how to do their own paranormal investigations. Several of those places are closed, though. Like the Gray Star Theater is closed. The Artists and Craftsmen is closed. Even, I mean, permanently. I don't mean for COVID. I was thinking about maybe one day doing more tours down in the Warfield because that place by itself is so big and such a cool place that maybe just one location is good enough. So yeah, I mean, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, The Haunted Bay. So if I ever do another tour or anything like that, you know, we'll announce it on there.
So out of curiosity, do you ever visit people's private homes? I know you do a lot with like historic locations in the Bay Area, but do you ever get requests to visit people's private homes? Like if someone says, I think, you know, my house is haunted or what have you?
Yeah, we've certainly done that before. It's not really our cup of tea, but we can for sure. The reason why we don't often is because a lot of folks kind of end up being disappointed in the end when we tell them, no, that scary demon noise is your refrigerator and you should probably call a repairman. And that's, you know, I think every single one we've done has been like that. And yeah, so, you know, our group, we tell the truth, and, you know, we're not here to sensationalize anything. We're not here to, you know, be on any TV, you know, shows, and, you know, we just tell you like it is. And some people don't like that. They want us to tell them, oh yeah, you got a spooky ghost here, so they can, you know, do whatever they want to do with that information. So yeah, take some Pepto. That's her stomach is rumbling. Yeah, but certainly, you know, we take those cases seriously. So if somebody contacts us, you know, we'll do what we can to help out. And if we're not available, we've got tons of people in our network. I know that there's some great folks actually on this chat, like Gail Riley's awesome. What's up, Gail? You know, there's a lot of folks out there that, you know, can go to people's homes and help them out, and you know, maybe use psychics and things like that to help communicate. So we can certainly point them in the right direction.
Yeah, someone was also asking if we are planning to do any kind of paranormal tours at the Camron-Stanford House. Right now, as many of you might know, we're actually closed. We're likely going to stay closed until the beginning of the year, just to get us through the holidays. But yeah, it's something that we've talked a little bit about. It's complicated, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. It would be fun to have you all back to do. I know Ying would really love to come back with your medium, so we're trying to make that work. Just opening it up to the public is kind of a little bit more complicated for us. But definitely it will not be the last time, I'd say, that the house is investigated either by Summer and Ying or elsewhere. And we're excited to keep building that relationship and seeing if maybe the spirits get more comfortable and come out to play a little bit more, but we'll see. Someone else was asking if any of the recording of what you did at the Camron-Stanford House, I know that's on YouTube, but will you be doing anything else with it? Like, I know there was more footage that we took that night, but are you planning to expand on that at all if you come back, or what are you thinking?
I know we want to definitely come back. I think there's some fun stuff happening there, and clearly whoever's there, whether they're passing through or not, you know, was trying to communicate with us. So for sure, I know Ying, you know, filmed a lot there too. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was going to be an episode, Ying, and tell me if I'm totally off the mark here. But
no, yeah, we do.
I know you've
We
got
will have an episode.
But for sure, I know we have our YouTube channel. If you just go to Alameda Paranormal, we post a lot of our stuff there too. So, and then Ying, you know, she captures, you know, 99% of the stuff that we capture. So Haunted Bay is definitely a good place to check out. And if you have Amazon Prime, it's free.
Someone was actually asking if you would mind sharing like some of your social media links in the chat. So if you have a second, maybe you could both pop in there. And Ying, I know maybe you would want to share your Amazon like link to the page so people can get to it a little easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have any questions? It could be about you know, what they found at the house, or also just paranormal research in general that Summer and Ying might be able to answer. I don't know, Summer, what do you feel like sharing? Like, do you want to talk maybe about some other, what you think is a very haunted place in the region that you might want to share?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, I mean, the Bay Area has such rich history. There are lots of places that are fun to visit. You know, we talk a lot about USS Hornet. That's because that's what we know. We're there all the time. Like, I was there this week, and you know, we've got a Halloween thing going on there tomorrow through Zoom because we're being safe. But yeah, there's loads of places. I know there's Meek Mansion, Akane Mansion. Those are in the Bay Area. Gail's in the chat. She can tell you guys about that. and Dana, yeah, those are great places that I've definitely had some spooky fun at. And then, gosh, I'm trying to think of where else. Well, we mentioned the Warfield. So if you ever go there for a show, once life returns to normal, I think the Warfield is probably the most haunted place in the entire Bay Area. It's crazy. So if you guys go there for a show, just really pay attention to your surroundings. You never know what you might see there.
I think I watched one of Ying's videos from the Warfields one night, and it was good. I liked it. Ying, do you have your preference on what you think is one of the most haunted places in our area?
For me, well, you know, it's interesting because everyone has their own experiences. For me, it was the Great Star Theater, and that's also one of our creepier episodes. That is a theater in Chinatown, San Francisco, built in 1925 for the Chinese community, and I had gone there not to film anything paranormal. Actually, it was just to usher for a show. Went down to the bathroom, felt a presence in the bathroom, a female spirit, Asian. Came up, I asked the bartender, do you guys have ghost stories here? And she said, yeah, my friend said there's a female ghost down in the bathroom. She said that yesterday. So we went with June, the psychic. She felt a similar thing in the bathroom. A member of APR saw something like that looked exactly what I saw. And just lots of things happening. Things happened at the screening. We showed it at the theater itself. And while we were up on stage, Chris, one of the Alameda paranormal researchers, actually saw figures walking across on the balcony while we're on stage, answering the audience questions. And then people came up to me from the audience and said that before they watched our documentary of that theater, several people, 2 women felt they were stabbing sensations in their back. Somebody felt a presence in the bathroom, in the stall with her as she's going to the bathroom, and felt she needed to stare at the mirror, which is what I felt. There's a vanity mirror in the corner, and I felt the spirit was staring at herself. And then things were happening to us after we filmed the investigation, after we did the screening, like for up to a year or more, according to people around me. So that's going to come up on our season 3. So the original one is the Great Star Theater. That's already up on Amazon Prime. And then season 3, we're going to talk about all the things that happened afterwards. It's hard to say most haunted. I mean, the Warfield Theater for sure. We got the most amazing, Androniki from the APR, from the Alameda Paranormal Researchers, they got the most amazing physical evidence, I guess you would call it, digital evidence of ghosts I've ever seen. And it seems to be a very responsive spirit. So that one, and then...
oh yeah, what about the Eagles in Alameda?
Oh yeah, that place is really cool too. It's got lots of spirits. According to June, it's like she says there's a portal and lots of spirits from local cemeteries, or one local cemetery goes through there.
Right, and
I saw some. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I think for folks that are local, I mean, the Eagles, like, they have event. Well, not during COVID, but
yeah.
when normal times happen, I mean, they have events there all the time, so anybody can really go there and check out Eagles, right?
Yeah. I don't know when they're opening, but I guess when everybody else, they have dances quite often, like once a week, or they used to have dances once a week. And we had our Halloween party and screening there last year. In fact, people have seen very strange things at Eagles. Like I saw something, and I can't explain it. I arrived there later after Cameron and Cody and Matthew from our team were there. I walk in and I see someone kneeling at the stairs, thinking, oh, that's Cameron and Cody. And the people I'm bringing are talking, and I'm almost telling them, like, be quiet, they're filming. And then suddenly Cody walks out of the door in front of me. It's not him. And I look back and there's nobody on the stairs. That doesn't happen very often. It's like a physical thing. It wasn't a mental impression. Usually it's mental impressions, but this was like, I actually was talking. Hey, look, they're filming. Whoosh, disappeared.
All right, someone did ask, I just wanted to clarify something. Someone in the chat asked if any of the family members, like descendants of family members at the Camron-Stanford House, have had any sense of spirits at the Camron-Stanford House. I just wanted to clarify that the Camron-Stanford House is actually kind of unique in that we had 5 families live at the house very quickly, one after the other, and then the house was converted into a public museum. So we're unique in that there wasn't any descendants of any family member that lived in that house that ever lived in the house after them. So I don't think that we can answer that. But there is another question about if you had did you gather anything about someone mentioning or conveying something about a wedding while you were investigating the Camron-Stanford House?
A wedding. I don't think there was something specific to a wedding. I mean, really, I think there were 3 primary spirits, if you know, for whatever you want to call these things, ghosts or spirits. One was definitely a woman who was kind of grouchy. One was a man who was definitely like an authority type figure that was just kind of watching what we were doing. And then the third was more of a child toddler. So I'm not sure if one of those 3 folks had something planned, but it definitely felt like we were interrupting the woman. And, you know, she would, like I said, it didn't feel mean or scary. It was more of a, like, we were in her space and she was trying to get things done. So I'm not sure what to make of that. Maybe she was planning a wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely had, for sure, one wedding in the house, which was Franklina Gray, who married William Bartlett. So who knows? But yeah, someone else did also ask if any staff have had experiences at the Camron-Stanford House. I don't know. I mean, I personally don't think I have, but I could just be totally oblivious. So I'm not sure, but I know a lot of our docents have mentioned that they've had encounters, especially with Franklina. I don't know that any of the other names have been mentioned aside from Alice, who, like I mentioned earlier, we had the person who was working on hanging the chandeliers early on in the restoration process mentioned that he felt that Alice was communicating with him to kind of help him on his job. But yeah, definitely some of our docents have had some kind of connection with Franklina. Yeah, but once we open, you're welcome to come back and check it out for yourself. Let's see. I think really quickly we have time for a couple more. Someone wanted to know if anyone on your team has seen a full body of a ghost.
Yes, several times. And I'll tell you, it is very alarming, even though it's happened several times. I think, gosh, I'm trying to think the last time it happened. Maybe Androniki remembers. Definitely at the USS Hornet, it happens very frequently. We see folks dressed in their Navy uniform, and nobody on that ship wears Navy uniforms. Everyone there is, much older, and the spirits we're seeing are very young men. Oh, Great Star Theater. Yeah, Great Star Theater. I was the one that saw the ghost in the balcony when we were on stage.
Oh, you were the one.
Yeah, so yeah, Great Star Theater, full body apparition. We were having a panel kind of similar to what we're doing here in Zoom. People were asking questions and we were kind of talking about our experience. And then up in the balcony, I just see a person like sitting down, stand up, and then whoosh, walk away. And I go, yay, there's somebody up there. So that was crazy. And gosh, yeah, I think we've seen it a few different places, but like I said, it's very alarming when you do see it. So but it's very fast too, so it's not like they're like, hey, look at me, take my picture, unfortunately, to our dismay. So yeah.
I think we'll maybe just do one more quick question for both of you. Maybe you can both answer this. Someone asked, what is the funniest paranormal story that you have experienced?
Ying, you want to go first?
So yeah, the first time we filmed, this was a class project, so I had a few classmates, and one of them, his name is Abdullah. He followed along, and he said, "Can I join your team? I don't believe in this stuff, but I find it fascinating." So I was like, "Sure." So that's the first time we met Summer and the whole team, and we filmed them on the USS Hornet, and we didn't catch anything or feel anything that time. So then he completely changed, and he was like, "This is stupid. This is such a dumb project. Sitting in the dark, asking, what's your name, blah, blah, blah." So he got really kind of obnoxious. And then we follow APR to the White Horse Bar in Oakland. And the investigators are talking to a K2 meter, which is a meter, the lights go up if there's a change in the magnetic fields, I believe. And they were asking questions, and the light was going up and answering them. And then of all people, Abdullah, who has been saying this is stupid the whole time, he puts his camera down. He's like, "Guys, I don't believe in this stuff, but I swear every time the light goes up, something pushes down on my shoulders and I can't swallow." And he was seriously freaked out, and he actually walked out of the room. And I was like, yes, of all the people that have an experience, it was the guy, that guy.
Yeah, he was talking so much, just so much crap. He was like, "Oh, ghosts aren't real." And then he's like, "I'm really scared of things I don't believe in." That was really funny. I would say for us, it's not really paranormal, but it happened during a paranormal investigation. We were out at Mare Island, and we were wrapping up an investigation out there, and Mare Island's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and we were walking, and we started reenacting a scene from the show Ghost Adventures. We were kind of making fun of the show. And if you've ever watched that show, they use the word bro all the time. They're like, "Bro, oh, bro, there's a ghost, bro." And we were doing that and making fun of them. And all of a sudden behind us is a pack of coyotes that start chasing us. And we're like, we all look at each other and go, "Bro," and we run. I've never ran so fast in my entire life. But, serves us right because we were making fun of them. But that to me was really funny because in the midst of all that, somebody dropped their jacket. And I just didn't think twice about it. I stopped, went back and got their jacket and ran back. And they're like, "Summer, coyotes are chasing us. Leave the jacket." And I was like, it was ridiculous. I was like so concerned over the jacket. But we survived. We didn't get bit. And Zach Bagans didn't sue us. So we're good.
Well, it sounds like you all have a lot of fun. I know when I got to hang out with you guys for that experience, I had a lot of fun doing it. So hopefully we'll get to do it again soon. But I do think that's all we have time for. So just before everyone leaves, I just wanted to share a couple of things. First of all, thank you so much, Summer and Ying. It was amazing to see you both again and to hear about what you've been up to. Continuing on with our spooky theme, next week on November 5th, I believe, next Thursday, historian Sarah Gold McBride will be joining us again for a presentation about hair work and its place in mourning and memory in the 19th century. We also have a few more surprises coming up as we head into the holiday season, so make sure to keep an eye on our events calendar, on our website, and also on our social media channels. And lastly, I wanted to thank all of you again for supporting the Camron-Stanford House. We are so thrilled that our tiny organization has been able to make connections all over the country. I know that a lot of you are local, but we also have a lot of people tuning in from all over, so that's really great. Yeah, if you are able to and you want to continue to support the Camron-Stanford House, you can sign up for a membership on our website, which is www.cshouse.org. Also on the website, if you, again, are able to make a donation and are interested in supporting our mission, that can take place on our website as well. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for coming. I know someone asked in the chat if this recording or if this presentation has been recorded. Yes, Bobby, it is being recorded. So we will share that in the next couple of days, and you'll get a link on how to access that. Yes, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you Summer and Ying. I know we'll be in touch and try to get you back out to finish this investigation.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
And have a happy Halloween, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.